Hello boys and girls, so I'm just going to talk through the advanced skills very quickly for you so that it can give you some help with your Unit 6 first assignment. The first advanced skill is activity structure that a sports leader needs to have. So when you're planning, you must make sure you have a goal, the content, timings and equipment all ready and there in your plan so that you can plan an effective session. When delivering a session, make sure you have clear aims and objectives. So I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I might work on passing today, I might work on shooting. You want a dead clear aim for the end of the session so that your participants understand what they're doing and what they're trying to get better at. Okay. As it says at the bottom, you will need to develop their technical ability or their tactical knowledge, and that's the aim of could be the aim of any session that you might want to plan. All right. So having the activity structure in the yellow here on the right hand side, you must always start with a warm-up. You must then go to a skill introduction, then to your drills, then to a condition game, then to a cool down, and then to have some feedback and a debrief of what's happened in the session. Now remember, the reason we warm up first is so that we prevent any injury from happening. Then we move on to a skill introduction so that you can tell the people, the pupils, the participants in the session about what skill they're going to be learning and go through how they do it. When they're in the drills, then they're going to practice what you've told them, and it'll give you a chance as a coach, as a leader, to make them better at it and give them some feedback. Once they've done that in the drills and they've got better at the skill, you'll go into a condition game that focuses on that skill, that specific skill. So it gives them a chance to actually see how they should put it into a game. And it's going to force them to use the skill lots and lots over and over again so that they get better at it. Once they've played the condition game, they go to a cool down. This is just like the warm-up, but sort of on the opposite. So it's going to bring their body back to resting temperatures. But again, prevents any injuries from happening. Once you've done that, you're obviously going to talk through what you've learned today so that you're ready to link it to the next session. All right, so that's what you've got to talk about in your assignment. And obviously, when you lead your sessions in the future, that is the structure that you should follow as well. The next one is target setting. So targets should be set for participants, especially if the session is aimed at improving skills or techniques. A target of achieving a personal best or getting selected for a team. These goals or targets should be short-term, medium and long-term. Okay, now the difference between short, medium and long-term is the time period that you complete them over. Now long-term would be about over a year, medium-term would be about 6 months, and short-term would be within a few weeks to 1 month. All right, so we always make sure that we set targets that are smarter. So as you can see down the right hand side, that's these things that it says where it says specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time related, exciting and recorded. Now the targets that you set must always follow these few things. So if I want to get better at swimming, it's no point in me going to practice on a football field and run around a football field with the football if I want to improve my front crawl. So it must be specific to swimming if I'm going to set some targets. Okay, so measurable means that you must be able to, if I want to improve my front crawl time in swimming, then I must obviously record and measure that time each time I'm doing it. It must be achievable. So there's no point if I can swim 25 meters in 10 seconds is trying to get me to achieve a 3-second time in 25 meters over 25 meters. All right, so it must be achievable. Again, it must be realistic as well. And obviously it must be time related. So like we said before, with short, medium and long term, it must be related to the specific target time as well. If it is boring, obviously it's not going to be exciting, so make sure that targets are exciting and then obviously recorded as well so that you can see the progress that you make over time. Alright, so as it says on the left hand side as well, sports leaders can also set themselves targets to improve leadership skills or work on different communication skills. So there's another example. So it's target setting for the pupils as well as target setting for the sports leader as well. Use of language is the next skill that we're looking at. The way in which sports leaders speak to their group can have an effect on the group's behaviour and on their performance. Through using language effectively, a sports leader will develop rapport with the performers, sport-specific knowledge, respect for performers, sports performance or individuals and teams, knowledge of the sport, technical, tactical, rules and regulations. The language you use will vary from beginners to more advanced performers. Make sure you're always clear and concise with these instructions. So obviously all the things that I've just read out of there make sure you say why these things are important, how is it going to affect the session. If you use language that's really, really simple for people that are quite advanced in different sports, they're going to get bored. They're not going to have much respect for you because you obviously don't know what you need to do to make them better as performers. Whereas if you've got really young pupils and you're using really complicated words and techniques and tactics, then they're not going to make much progress because they're not going to be able to understand you. So there's a couple of reasons why that might help you write in your assignment. Moving on to evaluation, that's another skill to have. You will need to provide participants with feedback on their strengths and areas for improvement in their performance. Make sure you're always honest with this, okay? Ask for support from experienced leaders when you are running a session. So if you want to evaluate yourself as a sports leader, obviously you're going to have PE teachers looking at you and be able to give you advice on how to be a better sports leader or coach. That will really help you. The other thing you can do is evaluate the pupils' or participants' performance to make sure that you give them correct feedback. So when I'm looking at someone shooting, if I see that they don't use the correct part of their foot, I'm going to evaluate what they're doing and say, right, they stepped up to it correctly, but they didn't use their laces. So then what I'm going to do is tell them how to use their laces and try again another time. All right, so that's something that you can do. If you are also looking at evaluating your own session, looking at the blue box at the bottom, consider how your session went. So look at the planning, look at the content, look at the organisation, health and safety, personal qualities of the leader, achievements, areas for development. So they're all different things you can evaluate if you're looking at yourself when you lead a session. All right, that's things that we do as PE teachers to make sure that we are making the sessions as best as we possibly can for all the pupils. Okay. That's just a slide when you're on the system at school that you can find to help you write your assignment. So as I said before, if you've got any questions about any of the slides or need any help with it, just ask your teacher or email them. They'll always be happy to help you. See you later.